When I ask my patients if they could change their sensitivity, some of them say yes, and some of them say not in a million years. What's the difference? Well, the difference is between an HSP who is thriving and an HSP who is surviving. Which one are you? Hi, I'm Ashton. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and HSP myself, and let's take a look at what's the difference between a highly sensitive person who is surviving and a highly sensitive person who is thriving. So of the 4 characteristics that Dr. Elaine Aron teaches to describe a highly sensitive person: depth of processing, overstimulation, empathy or emotional responsiveness, and sensing the subtleties, overstimulation is the only characteristic that actually could be perceived as negative. So let's have a look at what overstimulation actually is and what in the world we can do about it. Overstimulation really means over-arousal of the nervous system. So think about torture, for an example, some forms of torture where a person is deprived of sleep, music is played, lights are blaring. What they are essentially doing is they are arousing or over-arousing the nervous system, and then people eventually break. The difference is highly sensitive people get to that breaking point way sooner than a person that doesn't have the trait. And so, for example, if it would take a person without the trait 2 days with the lights at 5 million megahertz, I don't really know any of these stats, I'm just making it up, 5,000 hertz and the music at 1,000 decibels, it would take a highly sensitive person maybe a couple of hours, and the lights and the music a fraction of that. So we all get to a place where our nervous systems become over-aroused. Highly sensitive people, it just happens way more quickly. So what in the world can we do about it? Well, today I'm going to teach you 3 tools that you can practice to reduce overstimulation of your nervous system. Because it's when we're overstimulated that we become irritable and we become exhausted and we can become weepy and cry too. Whatever it is that you do, sometimes I cry. Often I'm just agitated, right? It's like one more thing to do and I'm just like, blah. I just need to sit down and take a break. And actually that's the first tool, is take breaks. My most challenging one, because I just get going with my creativity and the perfectionism kicks in, and to actually pull me away from work, which I love, or something else that I'm into, to sit down and recharge my nervous system, that's a challenge for me. So take a break. Take more than one break. Take a few breaks if you can throughout the day. Even if it's just to sit and do some breath work for a couple of minutes, or take a walk outside and just sit, or take a walk. Or the water is really calming for the nervous system. You could take a shower, you could take a bath. If you can't do either one of those, you could put your hands under some running water, we don't want to waste water, but into like a bowl of water or a sink of water. So taking breaks really helps the nervous system to reset. Essentially, that's what sleep does. Tool number 2 is to have your safe containers. A container is essentially a space. And that space can be many things. It can be a place or a space like your home. It's really important for highly sensitive people to have a safe home. I call my home my sacred space. Make it beautiful, whatever that means to you. Make it safe. If it can be quiet, perfect. Another place, it can be like a library, if that's something that you feel comfortable and safe in, or if you go to church, if that's your thing, maybe it's your church. It could be like a park or a forest or the beach. Or maybe you have a favorite waterfall. Those are all containers. A container can also be a person. Maybe it's your special person, or it's a pet, or a therapist. I serve as a container, among other things, for all of my patients. It's a safe space where they can process, learn, grow. A container could also be something like your career or your spiritual practice. Going into a deep state of meditation can be a container. So it's really important that we have safe containers, whatever that is for you, where we can retreat to rest and recharge our nervous systems. And the last tool I want to talk to you about today is boundaries. Boundaries are essential for the highly sensitive person. People often think of boundaries as saying no, and that's true. No, I can't do that. No, that's too much for me. No, I'm not coming. Or a varied boundary where it's, yes, I'll come to that event and I'm only going to stay for 30 minutes. Or sure, I can help you with that and I can only help you for an hour. Yes, I'll help you move. I can give you 45 minutes or an hour and a half of my time. Boundaries are also asking for what you need. Ask your partner, hey, I really need to have this 30 minutes when I come home from work to wind down before I have to jump in and be a mom or a dad or start dinner or whatever it is. Ask your boss, hey, it's really important to me that I can go out for lunch so that you can sit in your car and get away from people, or you can eat your lunch in maybe the park and recharge that way. Boundaries are both saying no and asking for what you need. So if you're finding this content valuable, please hit the like button and consider subscribing and hit that little notification bell. It really does help the content reach more people just like you. So the 3 tools that we talked about today, the first one was taking breaks. As many as you can is ideal. And whatever works for you, just do it. Take a break from whatever it is that you're doing that's overstimulating you. Number 2, have a safe container. And remember, that can be a place, a person, it could be a space that you go to emotionally or spiritually, like meditation or prayer, if that's what you do. And 3, boundaries. Having healthy boundaries. And remember, boundaries are meant to be flexible, not rigid, and not non-existent. So boundaries are being able to say no, and also for asking what you need. If you find that helpful, again, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and remember, when you understand your sensitivity, you too can claim it as your greatest asset.